Well guys, this is it. We're back out for another 4-day, 3-night living off the land challenge. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to be sporting a plethora of new gear for this trip. So we took a recent poll to see what it is you, the viewer, want to see, and this is it. This is what you voted for. Living off the land, showcasing new equipment, and demonstrating some skills while we're out. I hope you guys really enjoy this one. We're putting a lot of effort into it. Let's get started. Alright, so there's a few things that we got to take care of and take care of right away. It's warm, it's summertime, shelter's not a huge issue, and even if it was, I've got my hammock here with me and my AquaQuest Safari tarp, so I mean, we're covered. As far as shelter is concerned, we're good. It takes minutes to set that up, no time at all. Even if I'm out here for 4 days, let's be realistic, I'm not going to starve, even if I get nothing. However, we're going to try to treat it more like it's a prolonged sort of camp where we're going to put a solid effort into getting food. Nobody likes to go hungry, right? But still, that's lower on the priority list. First thing I need is water. Water is amongst our top priorities here when we're talking about this particular survival camp. For that, we have a couple implements that we can utilize to take care of these needs. One of them is the grayl water filter. Probably the best water purifier on the market today. I absolutely love this. Top-notch product, works very, very well. And it's simple to use. You pull this out, filters on the end, fill it up to this water line here, and just use your body weight to push down on it, and that one's good to go. Now that we've got it fully depressed in there, this is good to drink. And it's cold. Now that we got it full, you just turn the top a couple of times like that. I'm going to let a little bit of air out of this. Maybe a bit of water. I might have a tiny bit too much in there. Once, twice, 3 times. Now all you do is flip that up, much like a dry bag, right? Flip it up. That's it. That's your water ready to go. Hook my strap up to it. We're off to the races. Now that water's dealt with, let's take a look at setting up our shelter for the night. U.S. Henry survival rifle, let's move that out of the way. As always, summer, winter, I don't care. A wool blanket. Now down here in the bottom of the pack, this is where we get to the meat and the potatoes of setting up our camp. Really love this bag and this setup. Is that down here on the bottom, I can basically keep all my shelter and sleeping equipment without having to rummage through all my cooking stuff and all the rest of the stuff that's in the main parcels of the pack. So this to me is an added bonus, super cool. So hammock. This is a jungle style hammock with the bug net. It's a must for here in Canada. Love this setup. And it's cheap. Everything I have is cheap. Cheap is good. Like every other wholehearted good glamper, everybody needs a pillow. Love a pillow. And last, my AquaQuest Safari tarp, which I have in this dry bag. Let's get to setting up. Well, Izzy has got herself quite a find over here. She's been here for all of 3 minutes. And check out what she's got. Good girl. She dug out a nice deer head. Yeah, she dug out a nice deer head. 5 by 5, a nice little 5 by 5. Good job. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. We got a lot of heavy winds today. It's the best I can get the tarp strung up, all things considered. There's just a heavy amount of wind pushing on the back of it, but I'm confident it'll hold. It's a little loose right now as I can't get it tight with all the wind, but it'll work. Again, I have my tent and glow-in-the-dark sleeping bag. Alright, that's great. We've got 2 out of the 3 big primary things out of the way, and that is shelter done, water done. Now let's move on to hunting, maybe procuring us some game, getting a meal going for tonight. It's important to note with these, it's a water purifier, it's not a water filter. So basically, you can take water for darn near anywhere and this sucker's going to clean it up for you to drink. The other really cool thing about these, I know there's other ways to do it, probably better ways, but let's be honest, it's nice sometimes just to get some cold water right away, and that's where these really come in handy. And it's portable, you can take it with you. It purifies it. I've got the life straw that goes inside the container, and it's a filter, right? So it doesn't take out the heavy metals and leads and stuff like that, whereas a water purifier will. So it only takes about 15-20 seconds to purify that water too. It's not like tablets that you gotta wait 20 minutes, half an hour, the UV filter purification stuff where you gotta sit there and wait for that. This kills bacteria, viruses, protozoa, very good stuff. Like, I mean, this is top notch here, and it removes 99.9999%. Very good product. We absolutely love this. Like, this is one of my favorite products that I've purchased recently, and definitely is one that I wanted to bring to this camp and show you guys. You'll see me using this a lot. Great bit of kit. I honestly suggest that anybody who is looking for some form of water purification or filtration to just skip the filtration, go right to the purification, get yourself one of these. You will not regret it. They're relatively cheap. I think 89 bucks or something like that. Worth their weight. Good product. Again, we have the Mama Bear by Bare Minimum. Awesome container. Really like these. The setup is super simple. Grab it, fold your sides up, bring your corners around, put them through, snap your button into place. Same thing on the other side, bring it up, put the snap through, snap it shut. Use this thing all the time. So this is the Flow and Go water filter. You can see it's just gravity feeding down through the Sawyer Mini here. And this is filtering the water. It's not purifying it, it's filtering it. When you've reached your desired fill, close her up. Good stuff. Remember, when you got your friends out with you, they get thirsty too. I apologize for the wind, guys. I already know it's bad. It's probably absolutely destroying the audio on this video. I can't change the weather. I let my other camera go with my son for a trip that he's going on. So unfortunately, I don't really have an option. That camera had my good wind mic on it. But anyways, brought out the US Henry Survival Rifle again. Good for small game. We're going to utilize this. Go out for a hunt. We got to get some food. It's already getting late in the day. Got to get something to eat. So everything fits in the buttstock. Pull it out. Snap it back closed. Take your receiver. Slide it in. There's a little bolt here. Tighten that up. Take your barrel, it's got a sliding lock ring on here. Pop it down, spin your ring tight. We're good to go. Alright, so to bring Lazy to a whole new level, what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to film this adventure with a couple of GoPros, one on the rifle itself and the other one I'll be wearing on my head. It's just too much for me to be bringing the big camera, bringing my rifle, and bringing Izzy and dealing with her leashes and all that stuff all at the same time. It just does not yield good results. So I mean, and it's going to be tough because Izzy's going to want the squirrel as soon as she can get it. So I mean, that's something I got to keep in mind too. I know that I've got some good hunting shots before in the past, but unfortunately every trip sometimes it doesn't work out. So anyways, that's what we're going to be doing. That's how we're going to attempt to film this one. If it doesn't work, I'll have to figure something out that gets us a little bit better footage and whatnot for the next time we go out. I've also already set up a couple snares. I'm going to go set up a couple more while we're out traps are a great way to procure food, and we got to be looking at this for a multi-day adventure, so we want to get some food. I assume the mosquitoes are going to be horrible. I haven't lit a fire yet, so we're going to have to grin and bear it. If it gets too bad, we'll just come back, light a fire, smoke up, and head back out. It's really too bad these babies are far past their prime. Happens. But we've noticed here though, excellent spot to set a couple snares here, so I'm going to take the time and do that now. So this is pretty simple. Just pull off a chunk of wire. Always carry with me my snap-on multi-tool. Just cut that off. But what you want to do is just bend this over like this. Make yourself a little loop. Wind it around a bunch of times. Now you want to leave this little spike on there. That helps them get, kind of helps dig into them when they go through the loop, and it'll hold them fast. So now basically all you need to do, take your loop, pass the other end through. Your loop of course is going to be according to the size of game that you're trying to catch. Generally speaking, when you go for pole snares, you make multi-looped, but we're not going to do that today. I'm not going to make a whole plethora. I'm just going to set snares here and there, and I'm going to make them about that big. Big enough for their head to pass through, not their body. Now, this is important. You want to weave these back and forth like this to give them enough rope to hang themselves, as it were. So basically that's what you're looking for. Take it, loop it around what you want. You don't want this to be super tight because you want it to be able to rotate underneath the tree after the squirrel gets snared in it. That way it will just allow them to hang underneath rather than try to keep pulling up on top. That's all that we're looking for. I'm going to make a bunch of those. We'll get back to you guys when we actually start moving around again. Well, here we go. We've got a couple snares here. You can see one down in the bottom here. That's a snare there. A little bit further up, we've got another one there. So there and there. And you'll notice how we kind of put them at a final point too. So these branches are effectively blocking the squirrel from going around. Same with up there. So he's going to want to take that path of least resistance. Increases the probability of getting something in it. Same with this guy over here. You can see the same thing. He's got a stick there, stick there. The squirrel's going to want to go through the middle. So there's 3 snares we got there. We've got another one over here. Same setup. You see there's a stick on each side. He's going to want to go through that path of least resistance through our snare, and hopefully all this effort is going to yield us some results. So right now as it stands, we've got 6 snares set. I would like to set at least 2 more, because the general rule is if you want a 50% probability of eating through trapping in a day, you'll want to have 8 snares per person. Right now, like I said, we're at 6. We got to get some more up. Keep in mind though, we're not just solely relying on trapping, we're trying to be proactive. We'll come back and check these frequently so we can get any game they yield before the predators do. If you're going to live off land, you might as well do it in comfort. Oh man. So we almost had all of our needs met. We had water, we had shelter. Darn near had food. We had a squirrel, perfect shot. I had Izzy with me. I was fumbling around with the GoPro so I could catch everything on camera. She grew a little bit impatient and does what she always does and just run at it as quick as she could and chased it away. So now it's way up in the top of the trees there, and she's still sitting there vigilantly waiting to see if she can't get it. It's kind of ironic the way it worked out. Like, it was only about 40 feet from camp. We went for a big long walk. We did harvest some woodland puffball mushrooms on our journey there, but would have been really nice to have got that protein and know that we had, you know, a solid meal for tonight between the two. Sometimes it doesn't always work out the way you want. I mean, it's a massive challenge just hunting and filming it, let alone trying to do it with a dog on a leash that gets stuck on anything and everything going through the woods. And you know, when you do see it, the instincts kick in and they just want to chase, right? So a bit frustrated for sure, but that happens. I mean, that's the way it goes. It's just another little hurdle that I'm gonna have to try to figure out and rectify. Now that she's thoroughly occupied there, sitting there waiting for that squirrel, I might take the opportunity to go for a little meander off myself and hopefully chase another one up and maybe get it. I lit a little fire here. The mosquitoes started to get horrible bad, so I wanted to smoke up before I I headed out there again to make sure that I'm not getting drove crazy by them. But at the same time, conditions here are a little more dangerous than I had originally hoped for. We got some tall grass in the lake here, so I'm a little hesitant to leave this fire now that it's lit and burning. I really would rather not catch the country on fire if it was at all possible to avoid it. So I mean, I might have to sit here and wait for this to burn right down or go out before I take off. It's just conditions are a little too much right here at the moment, so I think we'll just hang tough, let this die down a little bit, and then we can resume about our business. We'll get good and smoky in the meantime. Hopefully that'll be enough to ward off the mosquitoes. So already 20 to 5, so we're losing time rapidly here. Really, we can't afford to wait long, so I'm probably going to just sit by the fire, get good and smoked up, douse it with water, and then we'll head out again. So you guys can see, we shored up the fire pit a little bit here. I was just too concerned about the mix of dry grass and stuff that you can see kind of mixed on the outskirts there. I didn't want to run the risk of that fire getting out of there, so essentially we just took the time, dug a trench around using the cold steel shovel. I know I got lazy again and I didn't film it, but I wanted to make extra sure that even when I douse this a bit before I go, that fire wasn't going to go anywhere in the meantime. But I really needed to get the smoke on me to keep the mosquitoes away. They're driving me absolutely crazy. But we really got to get some supper for tonight. The idea, so we should have had at least 2 squirrels, one to eat straight for tonight, the other one to put on in a pot of water. In a survival situation, you want to try to boil everything as you get more out of it. It goes a lot farther. To make kind of a soup sort of deal out of it, but yeah, it hasn't been going as planned so far. It's a big challenge having Izzy. We should have had one already, but it just wasn't in the cards for us. This is the first time I've attempted this camp with her on a leash. I can't let her go here because as soon as I let her go, she buggers off and she's gone trying to get somebody's cattle or sheep or something. So unfortunately she's got to be leash bound for this particular location, but yeah, it is what it is. We just got to find a way to work through it and you know, get something out of it. Got plenty of water though, so that's a plus. we got a little squirrel for tonight, so we know we'll be all right for tonight. I'm still gonna try to slip away for one more good hunt here. I would like to have 2 or 3 tonight, just money in the bank, so to speak. Throw them in a pot, throw them on over the fire to just sit there and keep boiling away. Make a soup kind of a deal, and you know, if I got 2 more that and made a soup, that would last me easy for the remainder of the trip. Although we would still push hard to try to accumulate more and live off the land. So we have this little guy. I apologize, I'm not going to show him being processed this time. YouTube frowns on that stuff, so I'm really sorry, but you know, I've already tested the waters and it didn't go so hot. But yeah, so we got something for tonight. We're going to try to save everything. I'll show you what we do save when everything's all done, skinned out and done properly. Good stuff. All our needs are taken care of. So right off the hop, we took care of water. That's fantastic. You can see it on the tree hanging behind me there. The goflow with the Sawyer mini water filter on there, as well as the grayl water purifier is what we're using for this trip. 2 new products, tested out for the first time this trip. So far, love them both. Absolutely fantastic. They fit this camp to an absolute T. 10 liters of water is a lot of water to be able to bring with you and string up in your camp. That's just crazy. I'm absolutely floored with that. I'm very happy. That doesn't keep me river bound. That gives me a little bit more flexibility in how far away I can go from the camp. Plus, it makes me a whole lot lighter when I go in and out. So water's taken care of. Awesome, top notch. Shelter's good to go. Got the hammock strung up, jungle net on it to keep these horrid mosquitoes out of the way. AquaQuest Safari tarp strung up over top, giving us plenty of area underneath to keep all our gear and our goodies dry. For our food, got ourselves some red squirrel. Got ourselves a whole little mittful here of these woodland puffballs. Again, be very careful when you're dabbling with mushrooms. There's a reason I go for easy to identify ones, and ones that are tougher to identify. I bring my book. I'm not ashamed to admit it or anything like that. 100% positive ID is an absolute must when you're out here. It's not worth the risk. If you do not know, without a doubt, don't even try it. Mushrooms can make you very, very sick. But at the same time, they're very, very good to add with my squirrel here. So our needs are taken care of. We've got fire going. Fire I don't really consider a necessity for this trip. But I guess in some ways it is, as it provides smoke so that I can keep these damn mosquitoes at bay. But stay tuned, lots more to come. Hope you guys are enjoying it. So I just went and chopped down this little aspen. The idea that I want for this one is that I want to get this squirrel up on the smoke right away. That'll keep all the parasites and that kind of stuff away. It keeps the bacteria from growing, keeps the flies from landing on it. So basically, it's one of the best methods that we have of preserving the food while we're out here. Plus it adds a nice taste to the meat. So I'm going to just get this bark skinned off of here, as the bark on the trees is where 90% of the time you're going to get your bacteria from. If you take the time to just peel the bark off, then you avoid all that bacteria, which is nothing but good stuff for you. Excellent. So that's all we need there. You can see just the bark shaved off. This end I'm going to just whoop into a point and jabber into the ground. Using the cold steel Bushman for this camp. Also have the cold steel shovel out with me. No axe this time. The only axe that I have is my little CRKT everyday carry axe. I decided that was plenty good enough for this trip. Alright guys, so this is basically the meat and the potatoes of it. You got the body of your squirrel. Then I saved the choice pieces too. Here you have the heart, this piece here. You got a couple kidneys there and there, as well as down in the bottom here we have, I don't know if you guys can see that very well. There's the liver. The internal organs, we'll do them up with the puffballs. And the hide we got right here. That I'm going to put on the smoke. We always use them for different bits and pieces. If not for this camp, we'll use it at some point in time. There's no sense in wasting it. So I'm going to get the squirrel on the stick there and get him ready to start smoking away there. That's it. That's all there is to it. The internals, I'm just going to set in by the smoke here, close enough to keep the bugs away, far enough away to not start cooking. The idea is I just want the stuff to smolder away. I'm going to take the hide, set it up on top of the stick here to start smoking itself. Now we just sit there and leave that stuff. I'll throw some punkier material on that doesn't burn but just produces smoke to keep all the little creepy crawlers away. That's all it takes, my friends. Beautiful. That's Izzy. Maybe she figures that squirrel done dug its way to China. We're gonna go do a quick round here and see maybe if we can't kick up a squirrel. You never know, there's no harm for the trying, right? I don't even know what to tell you. We've had quite the flurry of activity here. We went from, having an opportunity to get one and having it get away from us to now we've got 3. You've seen the earlier GoPro footage of getting one over that way. Now this guy kicked up. I believe this is the one that got away initially the first time. And yeah, so now we're sitting at 3. What a flurry of activities. So what we're gonna do is get these prepared up and ready to go, and we're gonna get them in the pot and just slow cooking over the fire for, you know, all night and into tomorrow, and they'll be ready to go for whenever we're hungry tomorrow around midday or later. Good stuff. Like, I mean, really, day 1, you can't expect more than that. We got 3 squirrels, we got wild mushrooms, and we've been out here for half a day at very, very best. So we managed to get a pot hanger made. It's been a good day. I'm gonna go get these guys cleaned up and get them in the pot. So inside there, we've already got the livers, the kidneys, the hearts. Squirrel 1, squirrel 2, actually I guess that's 2 and 3. Yeah, good start to a good meal tomorrow. That's the goflow 10-liter water gravity bag with the Sawyer Mini. We've got an additional treat to throw in there with our soup. This is a bowlet mushroom. I found him earlier. Just gonna rip him up into chunks like this and toss him in, and he could boil away for a couple days with the rest of it, add some more flavor to it. Never had bowlet boiled, but I don't imagine it's going to be bad. Already, you can see we are off to an awesome start. Well, we've been lucky enough that we've worked ourselves into a little bit of time here, and I suggest that we utilize our time. Notice how I'm chopping right on the ground because I don't give up, and it's a shovel. Anyways, I was saying, we've worked ourselves into a bit of time, so we're going to utilize that time to build ourselves a little pot hanging system. So this one is a very simple system. Basically, you take your crotch stick like this. That you can use with your pole. Now I'm going to snake mine down through these trees like this to minimize the things that Izzy can trip on, or get tangled up in, I should say. So basically that's all I'm looking at is like that. Then we take one more crotch stick. We'll use our saw here. Sharpen the ends. Now we just have that. Now I heard a squirrel. I'm going to chamfer the end of this too, just so it doesn't mushroom as bad when I pound it in. But I'm pounding it in with my shovel, so I doubt that's going to happen, but whatever. We'll throw a chamfer on there anyways, just to be, a little more professional about it. Now, for the record, I don't consider this bushcraft, so I don't offend anybody using, tools that weren't made in the woods. I consider this utilizing what's around me to get to the means that I need to get to. So now I just take my stick and all I do is force it down into the ground. And all that does is, if I get weight on the end, it just holds it down. You want to make sure it's pushed in pretty good, because if you get a heavy pot on there, there's leverage, right? Because of this, you've got a tip point, and if you get too much leverage out in front of it, it can cause your back crotch stick to pull out. So with that being dealt with now, that's awesome because we're a step ahead. I like to generally have a cup of tea of some sort right before I go to bed. I didn't bring any of the, fun stuff with me this time, so it's a strictly living off the land. No additional. The only thing I did bring was coffee for the morning. No sugar, no cream, none of that. It's strictly off the land here. So yeah, good stuff. Now that we've dealt with supper for tomorrow, let's worry about getting supper for tonight done. It's been a hard day today, believe it or not. Lots of slugging around. Little things are worth their weight in gold. You don't use them often, but when you need them, man, they're a lifesaver. Or at least a facial hair saver, kind of the same thing. Generally, I slice these just thin like wafers. I don't have time tonight. I'm beat. I'm hungry. It's been a long day. I didn't cheat at all. As in, I haven't ate all day. I know that I was only out here for about half a day. But I didn't eat breakfast. I didn't, have lunch or anything before I come out. This is my first meal of the day because I want to try to make it as real of an experience as possible. Yeah. So here I am, chopping up my puffballs. These are the woodland puffballs, like I mentioned earlier. Not sure, to be honest, I don't remember if I filmed picking these. I believe these were harvested when I just had the GoPros and we tried that first initial hunt there with Izzy being tied up and going that way. So I don't remember if I took the time to try to film it with the GoPro, but I doubt it. It's really too bad. I miss where I used to always frequently go wild camping, and Izzy would go with me every single trip. That was why I got her, it was a friend when I was out in the woods. And she would take off, but she'd always come back. She'd just go explore for a bit, a squirrel, something that'd get her attention, and whew, gone. That's just huskies. That's the way they are. But here, the issue is she's close enough. If she goes a couple of quarters over, she can find her way into livestock. And that's not good, because people here are very unforgiving, and if she's in somebody's livestock, they're likely to shoot her. And that certainly is not something that we want to have happen. So just a bit of an explanation as to why, you know, she's tied up. I'm sure I'll get all the comments again about how I'm such a dink and this and that for having her tied up. But you know what? A tied up husky is better than a dead husky. And regardless, I like to have her out with me. It presents a whole different shape and set of challenges, but nothing that's, you know, absolutely horrible or anything like that. It's just another set of challenges that we go through, which isn't a big deal at all, really. I mean, it doesn't matter if your challenge is trying to get water or trying to find food, or, you know, you do the best that you can with it and try to find ways to beat it out. I mean, I found that squirrel pile and that mound and stuff that was really close to camp here, and she loves that stuff. Like, she'll sit in there and dig for hours and hours and hours. So it worked out very well that, you know, I got her over there, and she got happy and liking it and started digging around. Then I'd sneak away and I would go for a round and hunt. And I mean, things really got chaotic here towards the end of the day, as you guys seen there, that you know, we ended up with 3 squirrels now on the first day, which is absolutely amazing. That doesn't mean that we're going to be foolish and we're going to eat 3 squirrels tonight, but it means that the pressure's off for tomorrow. Unless, you know, some predator or something comes here and helps themselves to it in the meantime, we should be, you know, good to go. So we've got our little bit of, and I mean little bit, I didn't harvest very much of them. I found more, but again, take what you need, leave the rest, because tomorrow I very well likely could need those and want to go back and get them. So I didn't harvest much, but I do got a little pan full here of mushrooms, and of course the organs and stuff out of the first squirrel. So we are going to get the squirrel off the smoke and onto the fire. Actually, we've got all 3 hides are sitting on here smoking away now. We'll utilize them in some fashion. I don't know what yet, but for something. If we don't, the kids craft all sorts of little goodies and stuff with them. There's a story to that. I'll tell you guys later, but right now, let's worry about getting some supper made. We're losing light and we're losing it fast. I don't know if you guys can quite tell that, but the sun is setting. It's behind the trees, so there's not much time and she'll be dark. Heart, kidney, if one is, oh, sorry honey, it's a good thing she's got a good nose. There's our squirrel. Very, very good. Squirrel, contrary to what a lot of people think, is actually absolutely incredible. Some of my favorite of the wild meats. It's just unfortunate that really there's not much on there. Hear the coyotes kicking up. Well, guys, I know it's been short, but ooh, it's getting chilly out. Yeah, welcome to Canada, eh? Anyways, thanks for joining me for this opening day. Again, we're staying for 4 days, 3 nights. Wild camping, living off the land. As per your request, we're showcasing some new gear, and there's a lot of it this trip. There's the grayl water purification. There's the goflow with the Sawyer Mini there. That's a water filter. I've got the new titanium spork by, oh come on, Voyage, Boundless Voyage, sorry. There's a lot of gear. We'll get to it in different days. What I want to do is break this up, that every day is a different video, so you guys don't come back on me about it being too long, because I like to film. I like to have good content, and we'll see how it pans out anyways. So welcome to the night of the first day. This is going to be it. Nighttime is going to be my time while I film these videos, so this is going to be a wrap for the night. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Now I gotta ask you, hit the like button, subscribe, change that bell to all notifications, and share the heck out of this. Spread the word, guys. I appreciate everybody who's been with us so far, and I appreciate all your input. Till tomorrow, stay outdoors.